Wow, we're on Highway 65, just across the road from the junction of 123, Arkansas 123, I believe it is. And this is called Arkansas Dragon we're about to do on it. Anyways, should be a good, interesting ride. GoPro, stop recording. Heading south on Arkansas 123, heading towards Yaleville. Is that what the sign said? Anyways, this is what they call the Arkansas Dragon. We'll be taking this down all the way down to Clarksville. The road, parts of it I've already been on before, this part I haven't, but this is Arkansas 123. I just got off US 65. We're just south of Missouri here a little ways. Yeah, took off earlier this morning from Little Rock. It was warm and muggy when I dropped my wife off at the work, and today we are doing the full test on my new GoPro Hero 8 Black, and I did a little teaser yesterday. Oh wow, look at this antique car up here. What is this? It's like a little Ford Escort. Wonder what the real year of it is. For a while there in the state of Arkansas, you could license cars just 25 years or older as antiques. They changed it because so many people were just licensing junkers and using them as regular transportations and not really restoring old vehicles. I got a feeling this might be one of those. I don't know. That car there might be 40 years old now, but it might be one that got grandfathered in. It's from the 80s, I believe. I don't know. Yeah, but see, 1980. That was 40 years ago. Wow. Anyway, motorcycles, you can license them in the state of Arkansas if they're 25 years or older. Of course, the bike I got right here, if I keep it another 6 years, I can get an antique plate on it. That's pretty cool. Anyways, we're way up here in the Ozarks. This should be an interesting ride. Like I said, they call it the Arkansas Dragon, as opposed to the Tail of the Dragon over there in Tennessee. And should be an interesting ride today. It's very windy. We still got having a lot of the effects from the tropical storm that came through. For a while there, you know, it was sunny when I left Little Rock a couple hours ago. I didn't start recording until I got up here because I didn't want to waste all my battery. You know, I wanted to take this trip. I'm going to record the whole trip. I'm not going to, I don't know if I'll be publishing the whole trip or not, but we're in the Ozarks. This should be some interesting scenery. I don't know if this part is actually the Dragon or which part they consider the Dragon, but when I looked at the map this morning, I go, well, I'm going to go, instead of taking the interstate all the way to, you know, catch it on the south side and go north and then come back, I'm going to go up Highway 65, get it on there and head south. And I figured we'd have better light that way too. And either way, you know, I start 123 and do the distance between Highway 65 just south of Harrison and go to Clarksville and Davis Creek. It's a beautiful, beautiful highway. Wow, we're getting some blue sky up there. It was cloudy most of the time me coming up here. But just the same, we're going to have a great ride today. And hopefully my sound is working okay. I got my new media mod, and I'm able to just plug my Pandora microphone directly into it. And of course you got to use a little adapter for the 3.5 micro plug or whatever you want to call it. But anyways, this is a beautiful road so far, and it's supposed to get really curvy as we get down further down here in the Ozarks. Of course, highway, US 65 is kind of curvy, a lot of hills and going up and down and around and about. And there was some construction on it. I got stuck behind some trucks and such coming this way, and I got here a little bit later than I wanted to. Of course, I just drank a little bit of coffee. I was feeling kind of chilled, but I got a feeling it's going to warm up real quick here now that we're getting some sunshine. Anyways, I hope I got all my settings set right. Hope I didn't take this whole ride and have the settings wrong. We should have a nice, interesting trip here. Tunnel of the Dragon over in Tennessee, that's one of the places I do want to go to this year. Hopefully in July I'll be able to go there. My wife was supposed to go to a conference, but it got canceled. But now they're going to do the conference by a teleconference somehow. I don't know how they're going to do that. Not Zoom, or they're going to feed it live or something like that. And she she's a member of this blind organization, the American Council of the Blind, and they have their annual conference, and she was supposed to go to it up in Illinois, but now she's not going, but she's still taking off to do the conference. And during that time she's going to be staying at home, listening to the conference, and she wants me out of the house. So hopefully me and an army buddy are supposed to meet up, and he lives up in Kentucky, and we're supposed to drive down and do the Tail of the Dragon, and then I can check that off my bucket list. Some of the things a lot of motorcyclists have done all the year, but really those are just tourist traps for bikers. And just like going to Sturgis, that's a tourist trap. It's a big thing in the Mecca of the motorcyclists, but a lot of these things I just didn't do over the years because I just didn't have the time or money to take off to go do them. Now that I'm retired, I can do more things like that. But anyways, woo, it's windy. It's a very windy day. And little Chevy. That car was really a disappointment to a lot of people. It's not practical for anything. It looks like one of the old Chevy trucks has been cropped and chopped, but some people really, really like them. It's all bright yellow, it was. There's one of the reasons, a lot of people talk about planning trips and planning your rides and everything like that, and it's really comical. You get on these different ride, motorcyclist sites, like especially We Ride sites, like We Ride Arkansas, We Ride West Virginia, We Ride Ohio, and people get on there talking about, well, I'm thinking about doing a trip in your, on Saturday on Highway 123. Can anybody tell me what the condition of the road is? And I look at him and says, well, why why do you need to know the conditions of the road? One thing about motorcycling, unless a bridge is out or something like that, or there's some heavy flooding going on, you know, why are you worried about the condition of the road that you're going to want to go travel? Being a motorcyclist is supposed to be being an adventure. That's what I always thought. How about you? Huh? Well, just don't get hasty here. Yeah, that's where we're at, a place called Hasty, Arkansas. I'm stuck behind a cattle trailer. It's a good thing there's no cattle in it. All right, but anyways, getting back, you know, it's just really comical. You see people do that. It says, I'm planning on going over here. You know, we were going over there. How's the road? You know, and I just keep thinking, you know, why did this person get into motorcycling if they want everything to be perfect? This morning, as the planning, my big plan to do this happened while I was taking my wife to work this morning. And my wife works at a hospital, and she happens to be visually impaired, so I'm her chauffeur. You know, even though I'm retired, you know, my job every day is get up, make coffee, take my wife to work, then find something to do for about 7 hours or so, and then go pick her up again, and in the evening. But my plan for this happened while I was driving her to work. I saw a post on Facebook of an old friend, you know, childhood friend of mine, his current lady friend, you know, posted a bunch of pictures of them going over the weekend down to Tennessee. They were in Kentucky. They went down to Tennessee, did the tail of the dragon, took all the customary pictures and everything by the tree of shame and, you know, all that, and posted some pictures where she took pictures sitting on the back of the, I believe, back of the trike that they rode down there, or they might have went on the Road King. My friend owns about 18, 19 motorcycles, so it's hard to tell which one they were on. But anyways, you know, that made me think about the trip that I hope to be able to do next month, maybe in about 2 or 3 weeks or so, in Tennessee. And then I recalled someone talking about the Arkansas Dragon, which this is what we are on right now. Of course, I don't know if this is the Dragon part or not, but I'm on the Highway 1, you know, Arkansas 123 here in the Ozarks, and this is what they call the Dragon. Of course, right now these are nice, easy curves. We're not really into any heavy switchbacks yet, but I got a feeling we're going to be. Whoa, what we got here? Trucks use lower gear, 35 miles an hour, and it's got the little old snake going. And of course, wow, yeah, we got elk around here too. And they reintroduced elk here a while back, and so I hope we don't run into any of those guys. And of course, there's black bear in this area too. But who knows what we're going to see? It's a cloudy day, and on cloudy days and cool days, you tend to see a lot of wildlife coming out of the woods onto the highways. We'll see what we'll see. Anyways, this is beautiful. And another one of the reasons why I thought about doing this is my family is originally from West Virginia, and I've been getting this yearning lately to move back to West Virginia. That's where me and my wife lived at before we moved to Arkansas. My wife drugged me down here. We met in college in West Virginia, and we got married, and then about 18 years ago, is that more than that, 28 years ago, wow, has it really been that long? Yeah, 28 years ago, she got a job at a hospital down here, and I resigned my job, and we moved down here to Arkansas. And we raised a family here, and I've retired here, and she's still working. But I've been yearning to move back to West Virginia for some reason over the last few weeks. Maybe a lot of it's to do with all the stuff that's been on the news and stuff lately. I don't know. Just one, or maybe it's because I want to be closer to family as I'm getting older here. Because all my siblings live in West Virginia. Even though I grew up in northern Ohio, I'm what you call a West Virginia refugee. And my father moved me and my mother to Toledo, Ohio when I was about 6 months old. We first moved to Cleveland, stayed there for a few weeks while I looked for a job. And then he had a cousin or an uncle that lived over in Toledo, so we jumped over to Toledo during the winter when I was just a baby. Now there's a bunch of wild dogs. Someone letting their puppies go loose. Anyways, my father got a job on the railroad, and so I basically grew up in Toledo, Ohio on the east side, which is very common back then. That was back in the 50s. A lot of people from Appalachia, from West Virginia, Kentucky, and Tennessee wound up, especially from West Virginia and Kentucky, they wound up in northern cities because the job market from the mid-50s on there for a good while just plummeted after the big old coal strikes of the early 50s. So a lot of young families, they just moved north. And there's the road to Jasper, but we're going to stay on 123. Jasper's a pretty neat little town. You go down 74 and take you to Jasper. Me and my wife stayed at a cabin there. We have some friends from church. They have a cabin in Jasper. The husband of the family, I believe he's originally from this area up in here, but you know, he lived his, after going to college and everything, he'd wind up getting a job in the capital city and raised his family there, and he's retired there, but they acquired them a cabin up on the ridge up there above Jasper, and they allowed me and my wife to go stay there one weekend on our own, and it was a pretty good place to stay. And the little Jasper's reminds me of the town I sort of wanted to move to back in West Virginia that I've been thinking about. Anyways, talking about West Virginia and why I'm doing this ride. Now, one reason I'm doing this ride is I love riding motorcycles. I love riding back roads in Arkansas, and that's a good enough reason right there. But also because this area really reminds me of the small communities in West Virginia, and especially this area here reminds me of the area that I'm thinking about, that I want to move to West Virginia. I got to talk my wife into it. She's still a little ways off from retirement, but I've been putting the bug in her ear. And that's a small community, Pocahontas County, Marlington, West Virginia is the county seat. I think there's about 1,300 people live in the county seat. Probably less than 3,000 people in the whole county. Anyways, it's got a lot of roads like what we're on right now. I tell you, this is a beautiful road. I truly would recommend anybody from out of state who want to come to Arkansas to ride some good roads. Well, we got plenty of them, and this is one of them. And this is Arkansas 123. Kind of stuck behind an old farmer up here, but that's okay because I'm not going that fast anyways. And 123 right here also connects the Highway 7, which is a scenic road that you can take starting in the Ouachita National Forest and come up here into the Ozarks. You can hit Highway 7 down there just east of Hot Springs, and you can take it all the way up here into the Ozarks, and this is a beautiful scenic route too. Now this 123, I'm trying to figure out why they call this the Dragon. It's got a lot of curvy roads. It reminds me of driving the back roads of West Virginia, maybe Highway 219. There's Highway 219 that goes up through the eastern part of West Virginia. Goes up. Oh, there's a squirrel. Anyways, it goes through Marlington and up through Bass Snowshoe, Pocahontas County, Greenbrier County, Pendleton County, I think it's called, and a lot of beautiful highways up there. And there's a lot of side roads, and that part of West Virginia is, you know, a lot of the counties, they border on the Virginia. Of course, West Virginia is called West Virginia because it used to be part of Virginia, and they broke away from Virginia during the Civil War. And West Virginia is a very unique place. It's actually one of those places where you hear brother against brother, cousin against cousin. Well, within my family, I'm a descendant of a couple Civil War soldiers who had brothers that fought on the Union, literally. I mean, out of the same family, cousins, out of the same generation, fought each other. I'm a descendant on my father's side of the family of a guy named John Petrie. He was a private in the Virginia Infantry, and his cousin, his first cousin, whose name was John also, died at Andersonville. He was a sergeant with the Union Army, and they literally lived maybe about 20 miles apart from each other growing up. They probably knew each other while they were growing up. But we got something in the road up here. This is pretty cool. This little community. The Zark Outdoor Sports and Farm Supplies. Nothing open here. I love these little crossroad places. But getting back to Highway 123. Ooh, we gotta go take a right, heading south. Crooked, this must be what they call the Dragon. Crooked and steep, next 5 miles or 2 miles? I was running my mouth and couldn't read the sign. I can't run my mouth and read at the same time. They don't allow trucks down this part. This is really beautiful. It does remind me of West Virginia and in the western part of Virginia. I do get homesick from those areas. But like I said earlier, I grew up in Toledo, Ohio, on the east side. But I used to watch the Bowery Boys when I was a kid. I used to always think of the people in my community was like the Bowery Boys, you know, in Toledo. But just about every summer from the time I was about 6 years old, my parents used to send me down to stay with my grandparents. I did that up until I was about 15, down in West Virginia, most of the time with my paternal grandparents who lived in a railroad town of Hinton. And they usually, as much as I can remember, lived in places that were right on the Greenbrier River. You know, I can remember going fishing with my grandfather and Then when I got older, he used to let me take out his little John boat by myself and go fishing by myself. Got to, you know, my grandfather taught me how to shoot guns. They bought me my first BB gun, my first shotgun, and you know, they spoiled me by buying me a fishing pole every time I went down there, and did a lot of fishing with my grandfather. And it was like during the winter time, I was a hoodlum in the streets of Toledo. In the summertime, I was Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn. That's the way my childhood was, anyways. Well, ooh, these, yeah, this reminds me of the roads of West Virginia. This is some heavy switchbacks here, buddy. I don't know how many curves there are through here. I forget how many curves they say that's at. Whoa, this is a steep one. Oh, glad nobody was coming down the other way. Yeah, this is definitely what they would call the Dragon, I guess. I'm glad this is a weekday, middle of the week, hump day, and not a lot of traffic. Up here 10 miles per hour and we're going uphill. I'm glad I'm going uphill right now. Thought I saw someone behind me, but there ain't. I got this road all by myself, thank goodness. Boy, this is this is some road here, back and forth, back and forth. I'm gonna have to look up and see how many curves are in this road. What, I'll look it up on the Wikipedia page. It'll tell me, and I'll post it. I'll put a caption of it and let you know. Anyways, this is Arkansas Dragon. Doing it by myself. I'd rather do stuff like this by myself. When you're with a group, sometimes you get pushed by people to drive faster than you should, to ride faster, or to push yourselves and things like that. And on doing rides like that, that's not always the greatest thing to do. Of course, you know, there's one guy that I used to hang out with some in the 90s, and when I used to still drink a little bit, people used to tell me, you shouldn't hang out with him. I go, why not? He says, he's already killed about 4 guys. I go, what do you mean? He's a murderer? He goes, no. He gets out on his motorcycle and gets people to follow him, and he's just crazy, and fellow riders just tend to get killed with him because he pushes it too hard and they can't keep up with him, man. Well, God rest his soul, he passed away a few years ago. But that can be the downfall of being with some people when you're doing group rides and things like that. And also the downfall about drinking. Whoa, man, I overtook that curve too much. I'm glad no traffic was coming. Anyways, that can be the downfall with group rides, especially if you're with a bunch of people that drink while they're riding. That's one thing I'm totally against. Something I used to do, but I am totally against, and that is getting intoxicated while you're on your motorcycle. Many of us are just been way too lucky that we haven't got killed. Oh, this is something. Now I can see why they compare this to the Tail of the Dragon. Of course, I haven't done the Tail of the Dragon. We'll see. I'll make a comparison here later this year. Those are some heavy-duty turns, and I'm just really lucky that nobody was coming around that one, because I oversteered there for sure. And looks like they've been cutting the weeds and stuff down through here. There's a lot of debris on the road. Oh, that's another thing about people on the internet, but complaining about people cutting grass and getting grass on the highway. Yep, that happens, and they shouldn't do it. But you know what? You just got to look out for yourself while you're on the road. Look out for the hazards. And you know, I see people post this stuff all the time on these pages, which on the pages, the people, only people reading it are the people that agree with you. Yeah, that's bad, but it's just here I am, I'm whining about the whiners. But why are you telling all the other bikers? They already know it's bad, it's stupid, and it's very dangerous. Yeah, where are we at? Sandstone Campground, Ozark National Forest. Ooh, go back. Well, that was pretty extreme ride back there, those curves. I don't know how much more curvy we're going to be up here. But really, people, quit whining. Get out there and ride. Enjoy life. Quit griping all the time. That's the problem with many of us. I'm guilty of it too. Get all worked up about what other people do, and instead of just taking everything, you know, with a grain of salt, letting the water roll over your back and just keep on trucking. We get there and we get all upset all the time and just gripe. Well, that doesn't do us any good, does it? Well, anyway, this little Sporty is doing all right. Here we got some more heavy curves coming up. Of course, those back there, I'm really, I should be paying more attention instead of just running my mouth. But, or I might be, you know, this might be a video of me hitting the ground or running into a truck or something head on. I wouldn't like that at all. Anyways, here we go. In the Ozarks, come on down to Arkansas, people. If you love motorcycling, you love a lot of adventurous roads, come to Arkansas. And there's a lot of good food down here too. This being a weekday, we've got a lot of the places where you can't sit down and eat still, but we have a lot of good food down here, especially when it comes to barbecue. So come on down to Arkansas and get you some barbecue and ride your bike down some of these roads. Come and do the Arkansas Dragon, the Arkansas 123. It is a doozy of a road. If you like to use that, well, you guys come on down. You all come on down. Anyways, here I'm just running my mouth and don't know why. Don't really have too much to say today, but I'm riding my motorcycle. And did I tell you, haven't mentioned it lately, I'm retired and I'm loving it. Yeah, come September it'll be 3 years since I retired, and I probably mentioned this before, and people were asking me, well, what are you going to do when you're going to retire? Well, folks, what I'm going to do is ride my motorcycle as much as possible. Of course, I'm really poor compared to what I used to get with that bureaucratic paycheck during that last job I had. But you know what? It doesn't matter anymore. My kids are raised. They're out on their own. You know, I have a car. It's an older car, and I got one more payment on it. That's going to be paid off. I got this 18-year-old motorcycle. It's paid off, and I'm just enjoying life. You know, I got a little too much revolving debt, but that, you know, I'm making it. I'll get it paid down, and if I don't, then my wife will have to worry about it. If she goes before I do, then maybe my sons will have to worry about her, or maybe not, because I don't know if you really can inherit your father's debt if he doesn't leave you anything. Like if I don't leave him any property, then my debt can't be, they shouldn't be required to pay off my debt, right? I mean, I have no property to leave them. And so, you know, I got a few odds and ends things that are not worth anything. But if I really have no property, then are they responsible for my debt? I don't know. What is the law out there? If you're a lawyer, make a comment below and let me know. Because I own no land. And I own no house. I own a motorcycle, a sidecar that's not on a motorcycle, and I own a car. And, you know, it's an older car. Now, if I die in debt and then my wife is gone, is she, you know, or even if I die and she's still around, you know, my revolving debt that I have is not in her name. It's all in my name. Is she responsible for it? I don't know. Or would my sons be responsible for it? Why would they? I don't know. Anyway, that's a legal question. Anybody got the answer? Well, let's enjoy this ride a little bit. It's a nice curvy road. Not really sure how long this is. Gonna have to see. I started it on high, as I said, on US 65 before hitting this 123. The 123 will take me all the way to Clarksville, which is north of Russellville. And I'm trying to remember how long it said the drive would be. An hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I don't know. I know it ain't this curvy the whole way. It can't be. But we'll see. I forget how many miles it is. I'm going to have to look that up. But I'll put a caption up and say, you know, at the top and say, this is how many miles it is, and this is how many curves they say it is, and this is technically which part is the Arkansas Dragon. Anyways, there's been a lot of buzzards out. Wow, those are crows, I believe, or ravens. I believe they might have been ravens. They were pretty big. That's the main difference between crows and ravens are their size and the sounds they make too. I read something about that. I can't explain it to myself. You know, I read a lot of things, but excuse me, I had something caught in my throat. No, I don't have COVID. Anyways, I hope I don't. And let's slow down a little bit here and take this curve right. Oh, this is nice. This is the reason I like Sportsters as opposed to big baggers. I'd hate to do this ride on a bagger. It might be comfortable, but I'd rather be on a what they call a mid-size bike nowadays, like this Sportster or maybe a Triumph or Royal Enfield. Doing these roads, or versus. If I was younger, a sport bike would be pretty cool, but being younger, you tend to be more foolish and you push it more. You know, try to drag your knees and things like that going around the curves, and that could be dangerous. But I prefer the mid-size motorcycle, and I really enjoy my Sportster, and it's roads like this that are the Sportster's made for. I think everybody calls it they're a bar hopper. Not to me, it's a back road burner, man. It's to get out there on the back roads and enjoy the scenery type of a bike, you know, where you can go a little bit faster than the baggers or whatever. But you're not tempted to ride like you're at the Isle of Man, trying to drag your knees as you're going around the curves real fast. You got enough power to do what you need to do, and for an older man like me, it's perfect. I'd rather try to live a motorcyclist life, biker's life, as I saw it in my youth. And for us older guys, I want a sidecar rig. I got a sidecar. I had a sidecar rig. I got a sidecar, not hooked up to a motorcycle, but I really want to get that done. But because of being in retirement, I don't always have the extra funds to do everything that I want to do exactly at the time I do it. But anyways, I gotta quit saying anyways. Hey, let's go. Rock and roll. Here we go, some more curvy stuff. I'm really enjoying myself today, just out here riding here in the Ozarks. Wish I had a little bit more sunshine. Over this last winter, we've had too much rain. Of course, it's really strange. The temperature, it was in the 70s when I left Little Rock, and I think it's around 60 here. I don't know. I didn't check it back there at the gas station. I did get some coffee because I felt chilled. And when I left, at first, I go, well, it's going to get really hot here as the day goes along. Maybe I should just start off with take a sweatshirt and wear it under my cut, and that way when it gets hot, I can take the sweatshirt off and throw it into my little duffel bag I keep on the back of the seat here. And I'm really glad that I thought, no, I better wear my leather jacket in case I go down on these curvy roads, save some of this old man's skin. And I'm really glad I did that. And wow, look at the view. Look at the view. Look at the view. Man, look at the curve. Pay attention, Benny. Here we go again. And there goes a crow. And this is very, very beautiful here. I'm probably going to need to pull over here shortly. I'm not sure. Let's see. I've gone 31 miles, and I think my batteries usually last about a half hour or so. I wish I could. What they needed to do with these cameras? It's where you can get a visual screen on your visor or your helmet, where you can get the readings. Wouldn't that be so cool? Here we're getting back up to 7 will take you down to Jasper, and I believe, oh, look at that old place. And let's see, I believe we should be coming up to a place where I can pull over. There's an adventure rider out on the highway. There's a lot of derelict buildings up here, I noticed. Uh-oh, do I hear banjos? Nah, that was like in northern Georgia where the banjo playing was at, right? Or over in Tennessee, whatever. And let's see. Okay. I want to go to Harrison, you go right. And we want to go towards Russellville, you go left. Yep. Oh, that wasn't that folks was the Arkansas Dragon. So we're still on 123 heading south, and if I remember right, there should be a lookout up here. You stay on 7, it'll take you down into Jasper. And if it wasn't for the fact that I gotta pick my wife up, I take a ride down into Jasper today, but I'll do that another day. Today I just wanted to do the Dragon, and that's what we just did. We completed the Dragon. I'm still on 123, but that stretch of road that we just did there, that was the Arkansas Dragon. Of course, I'm not going to flip around and do it again today. We're going to continue on down this road to Russellville. But I hope you enjoyed that, seeing the Dragon. Anyways, if you like my videos, please hit like. And don't forget to subscribe. And for sure, share my videos. Let your friends know about them. This is the Hippie Biker Jesus Freak, and the journey continues. Y'all have a good one now. Bye-bye. God bless.